My god, is this an official comic book cover? I mean, the background and the foreground don't really make that much sense. The lighting doesn't even exist. But look at her feet. Like, why are they so skinny? And the perspective is, dude, I wouldn't allow this for my video game. Like I'm making an indie game, and if some artist just donated this art piece to me, I would be no thanks. This is not video game material. And again, I know video games, comic books, different. Yeah, sure, but like, have some standards, por favor. Like, this is the most low effort thing. Like, what are you hiding? I see people on Twitter making better fan art. This is like a comic book cover, right? Like, you're expecting people to buy your comic book because of this. Like, this is the first thing they see. They walk in a comic book store and, well, they see manga, but they also are supposed to look at this and be more inclined to buy it. At least they gave Catwoman a feminine body, which is like really radical in 2023. Like making female characters with feminine proportions. That's a big yikes. But anyway, right? So people are upset because of this. Oh, here we go. The masculine proportions, like the masculine jawline and stuff. Right? This is Catwoman. Is she Catwoman? Look, oh my god. Why would Bruce even remotely consider being involved with her? Like, her personality is rotten to the core, as we're going to see in this comic book. She looks like this. There is no reason why a billionaire toy boy would be dating her. Or him. Like, I don't know their pronouns. It's... yeah, I mean, look, just by looking at the cover, I knew that the art is going to be horrendous. But anyway, right, it's not the art that we're going to be talking about, it's the story. So apparently, Selina Kyle realized that Batman has it wrong, you see. She's actually going to train the criminals in Gotham to steal from the rich. So she's training people to become elite cat burglars, to steal from the rich. And this is how she thinks that she managed to solve the crime in Gotham. I don't even know where to begin, chat. Like, this is the most ridiculous plan ever. I mean, what's preventing the rich from just moving out of the city? What's preventing the rich from just buying guns and shooting people? You know, having security? But okay, it's a comic book, so it doesn't really have to make sense, right? Because, like, you got Batman just going around and beating people. But, like, her chastising him and being like, oh, well, you know, you're wasting your time beating up petty criminals. And I'm like, Batman doesn't just beat up petty criminals. Like, unless, you know, someone robs an old lady in front of him, like, yeah, he's going to do it. But, like, he usually goes after serial killers, goes after the mafia, you know, organized crime, goes after people like the Joker. Like, he doesn't just randomly attack a shoplifter. Again, like, if he is in the store and someone literally shoplifts next to him, like, he may stop that person. Like, the way Batman is written, I think, like, he would just have a conversation with the guy rather than, you know, like, just try to arrest him or beat him up. So, this tells me that the writer doesn't really understand the lore. But secondly, he's having, like, this just bizarre fight with Catwoman. Like, look at the drawings, holy shit. Having, like, this... why do the women have to be so fucking ugly? I mean, look, Batman is yelling here, and he doesn't look like something that would make me gouge my eyes out. But whenever they draw female characters, they have to do their best in order to make them as ugly and unappealing as humanly possible. It's just... whatever. You know, it is what it is. But, okay, broad shoulders, like, now she lost all the feminine features. What happened from here to here? Like this is already badly drawn. And by the way, you know, when we talk about aesthetics and, like, some things don't make sense, like the anatomy, for example, doesn't make sense. Like, I don't think you can have this pose in real life. Like, I'm fine if the pose is supposed to either be sexy, because it sells, right? Or it's supposed to be something of an action thing. Like he's doing an impossible pose, but he's doing, like, a karate move or something, and it looks cool. This doesn't look cool, and it's not even sexy. What the fuck are you doing? So anyway, going back to this shit. Batman is like, well, I'm rich, my parents were rich, and she's like, no, they deserve it, blah, 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 blah. At this point, Batman should just lock her up. Like, she just confessed of being the head of an organized group of crime. Like she is training criminals in order to rob people. So at this point, he should just take her in. But that's not the issue, right? I guess the main problem is the lack of creativity. I suppose they're trying to do like a Civil War type of thing. But the thing with the Civil War is that you kind of saw the point of Iron Man and you saw the point of Captain America as well. Like, the whole issue was that the government was demanding that superhero reveals their secret identities, and some superheroes were fine with that for public safety, while others weren't. So Captain America was like, no, we're going to maintain our anonymity, while Tony Stark was like, no, we have a duty to show to the people who we are. And this was, I guess, like the politics of the time. They were talking about the Patriot Act, right? Like restricting liberties in exchange for safety. And there were people like comic book readers that agree with both, but how can you agree with Catwoman here? Like, she's literally saying, yeah, I mean, crime is okay if we just do it to the people that deserve it, right? So in other words, like, if I'm a law-abiding citizen and I see one of Catwoman's proficient cat burglars making millions of dollars by robbing the rich, why shouldn't I do it? And what happens when the rich leave town? Like, who's going to become rich, huh? Here's the interesting thing. Like, the people who are pushing this ideology are the DC comic book writers, right? Who are incredibly left-leaning and they're very progressive in nature. Some of them flat-out communists. But what I find interesting is that the moment someone was pirating their comic book, they started freaking out. So it's like, okay, but like, aren't you rich? Like, if someone poorer than you is going to pirate your comic book, I mean, you work for it's not pirating like your comic book, it's pirating like DC Comics, right? So you're freaking out, but at the same time, you're writing stuff justifying theft. How does that make any sense? Now, of course, you know, if the moral of the story is that Selina is proven wrong and Batman manages to convince her that what she is doing is not okay and it has like this moral lesson, fine, you know, I'm willing to withdraw my criticism. But I genuinely do not think that this is going to be the case. I have a feeling that it's going to be Batman that gets egg on his face, and he's going to be proven that, no, actually, you know, her ways made some sense. Probably he is going to arrest her or she's going to leave town, and, you know, he's going to be thinking and it's going to be like, oh, well, actually, you know, maybe she did have a point. But all in all, I can see why people are upset about this. Because this is not how Catwoman would act. This is not how Batman would act. The drawing is horrible. And again, this is not the first time where Batman is justifying theft. I mean, in this comic book he isn't, but the writer is just trying to portray Selina as if she's having a point. There was another one during the BLM riots. Like, there were riots in Gotham, and Batman was like, oh, well, I'm not going to judge these people for stealing and looting. And I'm like, no, Batman would definitely judge people for stealing and looting. Right? Like he wouldn't just... He would say, like, I don't have time for this because I have more important things to take care of. Like, maybe, I don't know, the Penguin or the Joker is out, so I have to catch them. I wish I had the time to stop these people. But he wouldn't go around and say, well, actually, these stores have insurance and these people have it rough, so it's perfectly fine if it... Like, come on. That's not the Batman we know, and this is not even, like, a comic book that I would want to give to my kids. Where you make the argument and you make the justification that actually crime... in certain situations, it's perfectly moral. If you don't have as much as the other guy, it's okay to steal from... Like, that is just bizarre, right? And this is why a lot of people are hating American comic books. Manga doesn't do it. You don't see this stuff being done in manga. You don't see this stuff being done in Japan, right? Like, and not to mention, like, people outside the United States and California, they don't think like this. Right? Like, no one sympathizes with the criminal. I get what their story is trying to do. Like, they're trying to make Catwoman have, like, her point and Batman have his point and they're, like, fighting and shit. But, like, again, like, she doesn't have a point. Like, she is just a simple villain. Like, she's not even complex. She's not saying anything. This is, like, complete fiction. And look at her with the anger and shit. It makes absolutely no sense. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.